Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Sims 3 speed build. So today we are working on the cemetery for my custom world Stoneridge Valley. This lot is not connected to the lot that has the church slash the schoolhouse on it. This one is off just a little bit. I put it kind of a little bit in the wooded area or in the trees, just to try to make it look a little bit more secluded and maybe even a little bit more creepy or gloomy, or I'm not really too sure, I guess I should say, on what kind of look I was really going for. But to me, it just seemed like it shouldn't be directly on the side of the road or right there out front where it could easily be seen. I did want it to be a little bit more covered. There is a path that will take you from the church and schoolhouse area to the church or to the cemetery. I believe I've also put in a actual, like, I guess like an actual sidewalk, so that is there. So the Sims might take the actual sidewalk to get there, or they may not. They might just kind of cut through the trees however they want. Unfortunately, there's no 100% guarantee that the Sims are going to walk across, along the sidewalks and everything to get to where they want to go, but it does kind of help direct them a little bit, I've noticed. But again, no guarantees that they will, but hopefully they might use it. It does go directly, it kind of weaves in and out through the trees area. I didn't really want it to be a straight a straight path, and then of course I also did it in dirt, that way it kind of looked and could be blended in real nice. So for the last probably minute and a half here, you've seen me kind of messing a little bit with the mausoleum. Even though I'm not sure how much, they may have had mausoleums back then. I really didn't research that, so I'm not really 100% certain, but I think they probably did. They probably had really old crypts and stuff. A lot of the more wealthy families and stuff at that time, they a lot of times had their family cemetery there on the property with them. But unfortunately in The Sims, if you want to be able to have the deceased to go somewhere, you do need the mausoleum. That's where all the deceased Sims are going to go. Without that, I think they just kind of, I'm not really too sure. You'll have their tombstones laying around, but I don't know. I guess I've never played in a world that didn't have the mausoleum, so I'm not really too sure. If you know what would happen by not having a mausoleum in the game, why don't you go ahead and leave that in the comments below, because I don't think I've ever played in a world that didn't have one. Anyway, so that's kind of what we're doing here, is just trying to get it in. I wanted the mausoleum to be right there at the entrance, and again, I tried making the area a little bit gloomy, because in my mind, yeah, there are some nice cemeteries and stuff out there, but I just felt back at this time the cemeteries wouldn't have been quite as nice, and I still wanted it to have some type of fence around it. I just felt that that was fitting. It made it look a little bit more creepy, I guess. And whether or not they would have back then, I don't know. They may have just had wood fences or something. I'm not really too sure, and frankly, I didn't really care. So I went ahead and put the pond in. I felt that this was a good place to put it, and of course, you always need to have that one creepy, gloomy area to have the death fish. So little spoiler there, a spoiler alert for you there. The death fish will be in this pond. I'm not sure if I show on the video if I show putting it in or not, but this is where it's going to be. The one thing I noticed about some of those rocks, which was kind of disappointing, is they have a weird darkened color on them. I do use some of them because you can kind of hide the darkness on them, but it almost looks like the coloring is wrong or incorrect or something. I'm not really too sure. Almost like they weren't honestly, I really have no idea. It's almost like they weren't colored correctly, or I don't know. I'm not a graphic designer, so I really don't know anything about it. I wouldn't know how to fix it. I wouldn't know what went wrong or anything like that. So just trying to get this area, decorated. I wanted to make sure, with there being a little bit of a gap on that side of the pond and the fence, I wanted to try to make sure that none of the Sims would try to get back there. I didn't want any of them getting, stuck if they were to spawn. So I put a whole bunch of plants and stuff there to help prevent that. And then I decided they probably didn't really have nice straight lines. A lot of the older cemeteries, at least around where I live and I've seen them, sometimes the tombstones are super close to each other, almost on top of each other, while other ones are kind of like curved, make like a U shape. And they're just kind of scattered about, some of them really old ones. So I thought I'd try to recreate something similar to that. And I am thinking about putting maybe, I don't know, I've kind of considered putting a real ghost in the cemetery. I'm not sure yet. Why don't you let me know in the comments below if you would like to have one or two real ghosts that will spawn from one of these tombstones. Because in order to have that, you do need to have I think you need to have the tombstone out. I don't know if they'll spawn through the mausoleum or not. Usually when I've ever had them spawning, it's because I had their tombstone out. So let me know if that is something that you think I should do with this. I've only ever done that once, where a lot came with, you know, with a ghost. So in the comments below, let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in, or maybe I could even have that included in a save file instead of the actual world itself. You can always leave that down in the comments below as well. And you just seen me use one of the skeletons. I saw that while I was looking around for different objects, and I thought that just seemed really fitting. I guess in my mind, I would think, you know, back in this time, some of the really poor people would probably wouldn't have had maybe a casket or anything like that, and they may have just been put in the ground in a hole, while others may have had a casket, but again, it would have just been real cheap wood made, and those wouldn't eventually would biodegrade and be gone. And I don't know, I saw that skeleton, and in my mind it just seemed fitting to make it look like it was slowly emerging out of the ground, as if over the years it just, I guess, kind of rose up and some of the bones are starting to stick out of the ground. That was just kind of my thought in that. I don't know, I just thought it was fairly fitting for the cemetery, and I think it looked pretty neat and was pretty happy with it. So now I'm just kind of going around doing a little bit more terrain paint. I do feel that terrain paint really does make a lot. It makes it look nicer, and I feel that the more details in the terrain in the paint that you do, the nicer the lot will become. So just going around and putting a little bit more trees that come with, that are actually out in the world. I did add willow trees to this lot, even though I don't have willow trees anywhere else in the world, just because I don't know, for some reason, even though I think willow trees can be really beautiful, at the same time they can be extremely creepy. So I felt that the willow tree just made sense to be in this, on this lot. So, and I thought it would look better with actual torches on this lot versus the lanterns with the candles. This one, I don't know, a torch just seemed like more, I don't know if it was more realistic, or it just seemed to fit the area better having a torch. So that's what I ended up using for the lighting in this area, is the torches, and I add a few just to help light it up just a little bit, because you know me, I don't like my Sims to be in the dark. If I go to a community lot, and you very well could be in this community lot, maybe your Sim wants to have a creepy date or something. I personally want to be able to see my Sims if they're out on a date, or they're just on an outing and they want to snoop around the cemetery or something and have some fun. I want to be able to see them out there. So just adding a few more miscellaneous objects around that just kind of look like they're just kind of there for, I don't know, maybe at one time the Sims were doing something and they just left their leftover materials there. So, and I saw them cannons, and I don't know if a cannon would really, I don't know, would really be in a cemetery for sure, but again, it was just a little something that I thought, I don't know, it kind of looked okay, so I went ahead and left them, and just a few of the other objects, and that's pretty much it. I don't add a whole lot to this lot, but everything you see is going to be with the world when you download it. I do have a version of this uploaded on my Patreon for the paying members only at the moment. It will eventually be released as a free release to all the public, but please visit my Patreon for updates and new releases. And I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day.